Got to get it, Papa. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this area. Well, let's see. I'm trying to decide which way to start first. Let's go over here real quick. So like I said, it's a Rural Life Museum, so the buildings in general would be country buildings from different parts of the state. And over time, and depending on where they were located and who built them, their use, their shapes, their details changed over time. We could go check these out. Let's start off small. Well, look, here's another engine. I might have to borrow this one to go home because my little horse, I don't know where he's at. So I might have to ditch my buggy and I'll ride home on this. Except I don't see a platform to hang on to. So I guess I don't know. I don't think you can ride inside it. But anyway. Let's see what this is. Romeville Post Office. This was in Cologne, Louisiana, which is in St. James Parish. See, in Louisiana we have parishes. And this was the little post office they had. And we can go take a look and see if my mail order deal came through from Nigeria yet. How about it, partner? You got that money order from Nigeria for me yet? Not today. Okay. It's kind of funny because I guess it stays open. So that I think it's a real bird nest that they got in there. And look that's a big bird house. Actually, it's a pigeon house. They would use these type of structures because they would raise pigeons, and believe it or not, they would raise them sometimes for food. But it was the French people that came over, because in France that was a big deal to have pigeons. And so in Louisiana they started doing that too. And so a lot of the big plantations, they would have these all around different parts of the property, and with the little holes in the sides so you could see that, and the pigeons could come and go, and they come in and get eaten. And this is cool. This is a way to get over the fence without having to hurt yourself on the points. But it's some little steps. I don't think I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go around through the gate so I can see what's in the house, because this is the little plantation, the recreation of the plantation. Last time I was here, most of these trees were kind of small. Well, that's what happens when you don't come to some place for 30 years. But it's fun to be back over here and see how things look. And it looks like a real established plantation. And you see that thing behind the giant finger, that is a millstone where they would grind that stuff. But look, I'll give you a real quick circle around. See, right down there's a big lawn that goes down in the middle here. And these are some of the slave quarters that lined it along the sides. There were different buildings, and we'll check some of them out. You had this big lawn, big open area in the middle, common area, however you want to say it, that you can see the collection of quarters. And there's an outbuilding. I have to see what that one is. I don't remember me, but this is the overseer's house, if I remember right. Yeah, it's the overseer's house. This is in the mid 1800s when this was built originally, and all these things were moved over here. And long time ago, you used to be able to go in there, but now they don't. They have it kind of blocked off, so you can't really get in, but you can see inside. And it's pretty simple. The fireplace in the middle. Keep the building warm in the wintertime. Let's go on the other side here. Yeah. This is kind of like the living room, dining room. Well, I don't know if they would eat in here. The parlor. Probably take care of some business in here and stuff. And they didn't have an indoor kitchen in these kind of buildings. It was before they started doing that. Usually the kitchen was a separate building, which I think that might be what this is. The kitchen would be a separate building because sometimes things would catch on fire, and it's like, well, is dinner ready? Oh no, we caught the kitchen on fire again and it burnt down. Well, okay, 'cause at least you didn't burn down the house. Let's take a look, see if I guessed right. Yeah, this is the kitchen. And you see it's got a brick floor, so that's good. A little bit safer for cooking and having fire in there. And you see the big giant fireplace, because that was the oven. That's what you used. And plenty of cooking instruments and gadgets. Even back then in the 1800s, they were crazy about kitchen gadgets. So you had a gadget for everything. And they even got some coffee grinders there so they can grind that. And of course, when you're cooking, you need lots of ingredients, but you can't just go to to Walmart and buy all you need. So you back then you had to grow it. So they have a little garden here, a real live garden with real live herbs and stuff growing in it. I see some onion tops. I see, oh man, all kind of stuff. Yep. You're gonna be in good shape. Oh, let me see what time it is. It feels like it's getting late, but I'm not sure. Let me see. Oh wait, I gotta go to this side. Let's see. Well, I think that's actually, well, it's almost 10. I don't know if that's what daylight savings time. I don't even know what time zone we're in right now. Daylight saving time or what? But I think that's pretty accurate. Let's see, there we are. Kitchen, main house, and now we're gonna go back into the main part. Now I'm pulling off here right outside the herb garden here, and this actually isn't just a regular house, regular housing for anybody. This is kind of like the plantation hospital. They call it the sick house. And you get sick and you put you in here until you well, and then you can get out. But yeah, you can see they got some crutches for people that get all beat up and stuff, fall off the horse or get run over or get rolled over with one of these big millstones. that would make you have to get your feet fixed if one of those rolled over you. But they could line you up, and they put a see those little poles on the bed corners. They could hang the mosquito nets on there because, of course, this is Louisiana, and South Louisiana in particular, and yeah, skeeters are bad. But you can orient everything. There's the overseer's house, and there's the other houses. When you get well, you walk out the door, and this is what you would see. And you could say, okay, I'm going down here. And yep, you get out the sick house and you say, oh, I'm going home, I need a nap. And you could walk right up to your house. It's the lap of luxury, right? This is one of the slave cabins. And you see, if they were lucky, they had a mattress. They'd have something they could sleep on, a little pallet, so some people would call it. And pretty doggone simple. And you notice the walls, no insulation. That's the outside siding you see. That's the inside of the outside siding. And but you did have a big fireplace so you could warm it up. And if you're lucky, you can make you a little bench or something like that if you were handy. But this is like a duplex, and there's another one, living quarters, right next door. So hopefully you get along with your neighbors on top of everything else. And see, they got their side of the fireplace, but not too fancy, is it? And it's a good thing things aren't still like that. But that's the way it was back then. Let's see, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna keep going down here. Okay, here's something interesting. This little building, that's a slave cabin. And this little building, slave cabin. And if I understand correctly, that double one that we were in a little while ago, all came from the same place. And the amazing thing was that all these buildings were in use during the up to the Civil War. After that, they were actually used by tenant farmers who could actually make a little bit of money doing their job. Probably not much, but people lived in these until the 1960s. The 1960s. Now, I don't know what the inside looked like at that point, but yeah, that little building with their fireplaces and everything. And this one just had, one kind of big room. But yeah, it's like 1965, and this is how you're still living. They do have a bed. That's a big improvement. But still no insulation. No ceiling, everything wide open up and down. All right, and who can guess what this building is? It's open. It's brick. It's got a big chimney. I think that's where they make the gumbo. You're wrong. Wrong. They make sugar here. And see, the heat would come into here under this brick area because it's a La Flambeau. That used to be my nickname back in the old days, La Flambeau. But you would boil the sugar, and this is great to think about how making syrup and sugar, in La Syrup, which we'll find somewhere. Just continue to boil, all the while creating more scum, which was skimmed off. And I think they would throw that in that big barrel there. And there's nothing like a big spoonful of scum And it was skimmed off. Okay, as it cooked, it thickened and fewer impurities were released. Finally, the syrup was ready to be ladled into la batterie. And see, that's on this end, this little smaller pot. And that's the big spoon they would use to scoop that out. That's all the bad kids would get to eat the scum. but this tells a little bit about it. You can freeze that and check it out. And I kind of skipped a step, but it's kind of like a 1, 2, 3 process. It starts there, and you slop it over into there, and then you dump it into there, and you get some delicious sugar, like good cane syrup. Oh, look at that. Man, you're probably wondering, what is that? Well, that's one of them tings. Well, actually, you hook your horses to it, and they go roundy round. And see, they put cones out to show the horses where to go. And they go roundy round, and it turns something. And I think it's a pump, something like that. Oh, that's stupid. That's a dumb idea. It's the grist mill, where you can grind that corn. You grind it, and to power it, that's what you do. You use that to turn that. I don't know where I'm going. I'm kind of wandering now. I'm coming up on the back of a little house, and look, I found something fun to explore, except somebody left the trap door open. Then go find some treasures under that. That's not the kind of treasures I want to find. Anyway, there's an old barn. Now look, anybody know what this green thing is? Well, except the sign got busted. But that's a cistern. That's where you keep your water. And some places they had it rigged to where they could put a little pipe from the cistern into the house, and you'd have that. And this here, let me go over here so you can see that. But this is a genuine Acadian style home, or as some folks say, a Cajun home. This is where all the crazy Cajuns used to live. And houses kind of like that. And they would have the porch on the front, and they had the steps that would go up, and there'd be a little trap door up there, and they put the kids up inside there. They say, "Get up there, you, go to bed." And they were fairly simple. And look, there's a little pond here, and across the pond there's another one. That was not opened up though. I don't know if I can go see inside. But this one I can go see inside, so let's go see that. And this is actually not an original ancient Cajun house. This is a reproduction of one, but it's made to look just like the original. And you can see is the lap of luxury in here. One room. And look, they even had some little wooden shoes. And under the bed, what's that pot for under there? Ow. Just asking. And they had the little fireplace there. Keep things toasty warm. And look, I'll show you the, here's the little steps outside. See, they go up, and if you don't watch it, you'll hit your head on that trap door. But if you do watch it, you can push it open and get up in there and go take a nap. And that's how the Cajun house worked. And there's a little oven. They can make stuff in there. And once again, they keep it separate away from the house. So if somebody burns the toast, the house won't go with it. And it's good to see that this little Cajun house, right above the giant finger, they got their own little outhouse and a little shed back there. But Just think, every time you had the urge, you know, every time you had to do your morning constitutional, you had to come out and do, and you walked all the way back there and took care of your business. That was not as convenient as things are today. And this is definitely not a location house, because it looks way different. It's made completely different. So don't call it a Cajun house. It's not a Cajun house, or even an Acadian house. Yeah, this is the typical shotgun house. Now, how you think they got the name shotgun house? And see, it got its cistern too, so they can get some water in there and hiding behind the cistern. My favorite part of every house. But anyway, why do you think they call it a shotgun house? It's really a long, pretty narrow. You can see it's not real wide. But one explanation of why they called houses built like this a shotgun house is because they said, look, you can come to the front door like I just did, and you could shoot a gun straight in the door and it would go all the way out the back. And that's pretty much it. That back door is offset a little bit, but it would go straight through. And this is just one big room. But this is a pretty big room, and they actually have a ceiling. And it's a little fancier than some of them. And they got a cool washing machine right here. In case you didn't know what that was. That was a pre-Maytag. And you see on the back, this one's kind of fancy because it's got this little side porch on the back where the room actually gets more narrow. That little back room there. And then, let's see. Then you come around and we got the cistern. And let me go see. Hey, Boudreaux, you done in there yet? Get out of here. Oh. Hey, he ain't in there. Boudreaux, where you went? I went in that hole right there. Oh. All right, now this is a little different, because it's not a little house, but it's a little church. And actually, some people might recognize this because I think it has appeared in films and stuff. But this was the College Grove Baptist Church, and it's from around 1870. Yeah. And you'll see how fancy a church can be. Well, let's take a slow walk up the aisle. And you'll see one thing that's interesting, because this is a really big, wide room for a little wood frame building, is see these little metal, it's a bar, it's a piece of iron with a turnbuckle in the middle. And they would use those. They have one there, they have one up there, and then of course they have a real brace across the back there. But that was to keep the walls from falling apart, from going like this to going like that. It would hold the building together, like reaching across and holding hands right in the middle with that turnbuckle. But anyway, that's the architectural, structural type stuff. You could say there's a lot of symbolism in here. Up around the sanctuary. We need some music. We got the piano set. And everything else is ready. I'll give you a look around. If you were on the business end of the service, behind the podium, or the podium altar, this is what you see. I'm not sure of the vernacular, if that's a good term to use. But that's when you're looking out at your congregation, and you can tell who hadn't been putting some money in the collection. So then you talk to them after the service. I know who you are. I know where you live. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see they have stained glass windows, in quotes, and they're painted. They're hand painted. And in the middle of each one, in the clear panel, they had hand-painted symbols. It's like the crown of thorns. And unfortunately, with the age, some of them have faded. This one, I can't even tell what that one is anymore. But you can see they were hand-painted on the panes of glass. This, I can tell what this is. Everybody knows their Bible stuff. 2 tablets. Yeah, the 10 Commandments. People need to read up on that kind of stuff. Try to remember what that is. This one, kind of hard to see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. Let's see over here. Fish. Fish, the Christian symbol. There might have been something more to it, but that's all I can make out right there. But interesting, but it shows what age can do. But it's amazing that so much of the paint is still left on the other panes of glass. And the nice way they made arches. Because it cost too much to make windows like that, and they didn't have that kind of money. So they simulated it and got the effect they wanted. And up here, right above the door, that goes up into the steeple. Pretty cool. Now I'm gonna go over and see some of that stuff. But before I go do that, I'm thinking about all those hearses and coffins they have. And they even have a cemetery here. And it's not a real cemetery, it's a reproduction of one. And just to give you an idea of kind of what they look like back in the day. And some of the markers were pretty simple little, like iron cross, that type of thing. But then some got a little fancier and had some stone, and it had real headstone and a little brick cover. And then the really fancy things like this. But oh, and I see a coffin inside there. Somebody's resting. Let's just, we won't bother them. But they're in there. Not for real, it's empty. But that's what it looks like inside a tomb. Yeah, and all those the little Cajun houses and stuff, that's all South Louisiana. This is a barn that's actually from North Louisiana. And it was originally located near Fort Jessup up in Sabine Parish. So you can look up Sabine Parish and find Fort Jessup on there, and it'll give you an idea where this actually came from. And it's interesting, it's a huge building, the roof up there and everything, and then it's got these like pins, basically. That's how they describe them. 2 of them built in down here. They were open, but to keep stuff. I don't know if they keep animals in these buildings. They might in bad weather or something like that. And real live log construction. Look at that, how it's put together. Like Lincoln logs, but a little bit bigger. And I'm looking at this one. Oh, and I'm looking at that. But I'm looking at this one and wondering why they have a bell right there. Why would because it looks like a regular house or something. But let me get out the water and we'll see, because it's not Cajun house. And look at how the way it's built on the corner there. It's like a log cabin, but it's like they worked the wood a lot more. They made big flat beams out of it and stuff, notched them all and put them together. But this was actually in East Baton Rouge Parish, which we're in East Baton Rouge Parish now. But yeah, they say the house like built like this with this kind of construction was British settlers like to build stuff this way. So these are like some Brits living in here. And I'm glad it shows up because it's really dark for me, but it shows up good for you. So you can see that. But it's another one. It's like everybody lived in a big one-room building or a small one-room building. But look, because they weren't Cajuns, they put their little steps with their little trap door inside. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. They thought they were all smarter than the Cajuns, but there's some debate. Now this one's what they call the pioneer cabin. And it was built in the early 1800s. It's kind of that log cabin kind of construction you see on the corner, the notches and everything. And it's got an outbuilding, probably a smokehouse, I think, or something like that. Storage and all back there. But yeah, this was near the town of Franklinton. So look up Franklinton before you look it up. Say it, Franklinton. Say it with me, Franklinton. Say it again, Franklinton. Keep saying it, Franklinton, Franklinton. Okay, that's enough. But anyway, let's take a look at the house. And it's got a toenail grinding machine right on the front porch, so as soon as you walk up you can get to work on your toes. And this is the kind of thing you would picture as a cabin, like, you know, Davy Crockett, Danny Boone and all his friends out on the old prairie. But this was in Louisiana near Franklinton. Say it again, okay, that's enough, that's enough. Wearing it out. But they even have a little baby bed down there, a little cradle. The spinning wheel, a lot of things you would think of being pioneer type items. There's a little high chair back there. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat. I'm gonna run around the side, and because they also have lofts. Instead of having a little trap door, they just have little sections of the ceiling that are closed up, so you can get up there. You send it, kids probably stayed up there. They used it for storage, and it had a ladder on each side. See, we'll go around, see if we can see that. Here we go. We'll come look in the side door. See, this is a pretty nifty house because they had 3 doors to get in and out of here. They had the main front door, and they had a side door there and a side door where I am. But you can see up there, that room, they got a big trunk up on top. A lot of big trunks. This family must have had a lot of stuff to keep in their trunks. But yeah, that little cradle, you can see the note on the back from when it was donated. They think it was made around 1700. 1700. That there wasn't even a United States yet when that little cradle was built. It came around the back of the pioneer house, and it's pretty cool the way the chimney was made, because they didn't have bricks yet. So they had to frame it up, and they would make some muddy concrete sort of goop and pack that in there. And I imagine they'd probably have to repair it every so often as pieces came off or whatever. This little cabin was occupied by the same family for like 5 generations. And members of the family lived in there until the 1960s. So that's some longevity as far as that goes. Oh, look. Somebody left the door open. It's all ready. That's the potato house. And see, you don't think of potatoes with Louisiana too much. It's like Louisiana, you think of rice and sugar cane, but they did have potatoes. And actually there's a lot of people that grow sweet potatoes in Louisiana. Sweet potatoes, and then there's also yams. They're different kind of creatures, sweet potatoes and yams, so don't mix them up. But if you had some taters, that's where you keep them. And I'm gonna check out this place, because this one's cool, because this is a dog trot house. Now, why do you think they call it a dog trot house? Because it's from Dog Trot USA? Wait, that's not even a place. This is a North Louisiana house, is where it came from. And you see it's got like a part right there and a part over there, but there's a big hole in the middle. And they had different reasons for building them that way. It would allow circulation and stuff like that. But people would say, yeah, the dogs could trot right through the middle. Wah, wah, wah. And so, but this was done. This one was built around the time of the Civil War. They would the uses of the rooms were divided up. That was another reason for building the 2 little sections, but keeping them apart. One side was like for the bedroom to sleep in. This was to grind your toenails on. And yeah, this was like the kitchen area. So it's got the fireplace, and you got your table and everything, but there is a bed in here, so they might be kind of sneaking it a little bit. Let's see what's in the other half. This looks like some makings for a still. I still see these things laying around. I smell corn squeezins. Okay. Yeah, see, this is more of a bedroom type area, because they got all the baby bed, the big bed, the little bed. Maybe they put the kids in here to keep them out of trouble and lock the doors so they can't get out and run around in the woods, get all ate up by a bar. And then they would cook and everything in the other side. And now I'm gonna go trot through the middle like a big old dog. I'm a big dog. See? Hey, Ma, supper ready? No, go away. Let's see what the kids are up to. Uh-oh, the kids are all gone. Well, they're up to no good, I know that. So that's that barn we saw earlier, which is a similar kind of style when you look at it. Pretty fancy. All kind of different folks settled in Louisiana over the years. Well, it's just about time for me to go, so I'm gonna see if I can get Ed over here to get back on the buggy so I can get out of here, so I don't have to take that cast iron beast. So what do you say, Ed? Oh, I'm tired. It's been a long trip over here. Oh, come on, Ed, it's not that far. I mean, you can walk slow, it's okay. Oh, Wilbur, I don't know. Oh my goodness, I'm old. Keep an eye out to see more Look Dat.